Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Real Jack Army. Today we are joined by Do Not Scratch Your Eyes, a Watford podcast. There are 3 of them in that video. We are also joined by Swansea City YouTuber Pure FC Vlogs, and we are joined by Turfcast, a Burnley podcast, and we're also joined by W12, aka Duncan, the co-founder of a QPR podcast, as well as QPR Clips. And we're also joined by many other supporters from the Championship as they give us our August thoughts on their team's transfers and their league positions, their favourite games they've been to, and many, many more. So I'm going to hand you over, first of all, to Do Not Scratch Your Eyes, a Watford podcast, on their thoughts and predictions of the upcoming season and of an overview of the month of August. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this video and to the channel. I'm going to hand you over to them in just a minute. This is something new, so if it's a success, then I will continue to do it for the month of September, October, not November, because the FIFA World Cup. Probably come back in January then to do something. So this is brand new, so don't forget to leave feedback. I'm going to hand you over to them. So don't forget, like, share and subscribe to this video. And I will be back very soon. So enjoy, get back, relax and enjoy. Thank you very much for tuning in. Have a good day.
Hi there, Bino here, Cardiff City fan. Been asked by Dara now to just give a review of this month and how the season had gone. We're currently in 17th position and just disappointed, really. Everything will be covered with everything else. The best moments, actually watching us play nice football, from goalkeeper right out. But worst moments is we can't score a goal. We've had 6 league games in August. I was hoping we'd get 11 points out of the 18. Looking at the fixtures we actually had 5 points, scoring only 3 goals. That's no good. You know, we need someone badly, and we've just signed Callum Robinson now from West Brom. So hopefully he can keep fit, because we've had 17 new players. Some are really impressed, but we've had a couple of injuries now, 1 or 2 long-term. Botete from Spurs, injured, but not that much game time anyway. But our strikers at the moment, I don't think they can score in a brothel, to be honest with them. So hopefully Callum Robinson, and we are looking at signing 1 or 2 others as well. So 17 new players. It's going to take time to gel, but we're having loads of possession of the ball, unlike years previous where under Warnock, whatever, just oof ball, 20% and winning games. Now I've seen us having 50, 70 odd % to play and still can't do nothing with the ball then in the final third. So, got to improve. Swansea have impressed with the way they play, but similar to us. You know, they're the team that have shocked me this season then with being so low. Same as Middlesbrough. Good teams, but just not doing anything in the final third. Reading are the team that have impressed more, because they, out of the top 6, 7, most of the teams are the teams you'd fancy. But Reading, I think they were everyone's favourites to go down, to be honest, weren't they? But they're up there. I know it's early season yet and such a long way to go, and I still think it'll be a close season. Hopefully now, with a striker, we can start picking up. But we've got a couple of tough games now. A lot of games on the road and just 1 game at home in September coming. So it's going to be really, really hard. Best signing so far for me, I'll stick with Allsop. I think he's been outstanding as a goalkeeper. But then Jamili Collins, he's been fantastic. Injured. Sawyers have been well. You know, they played really well through the field, but it was just really, really just needed a striker. Glad to see Vincent Tan now put his hand in his pocket and paid, I think, is 1.5 million for Robinson. But I heard he's injury prone as well, so hopefully he can stay fit and contribute a bit then. You know, it's just really needed for us. Long way to go, boys. Too much to think of. Good luck, everyone. Come on, Bluebirds.
This is an end of transfer window review for Blackburn Rovers so far, based on what we know. I'd say our best signing so far is Callum Britton, we're using him mainly as a right back. We've struggled for right backs for a very long time, in my opinion. Even since Lucas Neal, way back when he was in the Premier League, I haven't really rated any of the right backs we've had since. So he seems like a big improvement on everything we've had since them days. So he's my signing in the season so far. I'm pleasantly surprised that Brereton Diaz is still there as it stands. Hopefully he doesn't leave at the end of the day. Highlight of the season so far, I would say, was beating Baggies, because I expected West Brom to beat us. I know it was a scrappy game, and them probably had the better chances, but we got the win, and that's what matters. That's my highlight of the season so far. Overview of the table. Some of the teams I expected to be near the top are near the top again. You like some Norwich, who go down and then go back up and down, over and over. Unfortunately, Burnley, I expect, even though they've lost a lot of players, I think them will be in the playoffs, and that's where they seem to be roundabouts. I do think a lot of the other teams are a bit hit and miss, not much consistency in the league at the moment. I think there's less quality in the league as well than there has been in the past, because a lot of the players have moved on to bigger leagues. can't really think of what else to say. But yeah, so hopefully some more signings come through the door today. Hopefully Brereton stays, Brereton Diaz, that's the main thing that I want. Just shut the window now, I'll be happy. I do think we're going to struggle. I think, league position wise, I said about 15th or 16th before the season. If Brereton stays, maybe top 10. Brereton goes, I think we'll be right around 16th. So it all depends on whether he stays or goes today. I hope that helps, mate. Nice one.
Hello, this is Nathaniel Whitto from the To Hell and Back podcast, doing a little August and very end of July little month review for Hull City. We're 11th and we have 11 points from 7 games, which, after the last 3 results, we had 1 win in the last 3. We had been a little higher, especially just when we ended the last game. I think we were 7th, but 11th from 7 games. We're very happy with that. Would have bitten your hand off if you'd offered that to a City fan before the season started. And that's because of our best result and best moment of the month. Very stunning 2-1 win against Norwich City. Didn't exactly necessarily deserve the win, but we dug in. Got 2 very scrappy goals. We defended very well for the last 20 minutes, which was the best moment against a very good team that's now kicked on and won, was it 4 games in a row or something like that? But then our worst result was the one that's just gone on Tuesday night. We lost 3-0 or 3-1 to QPR. We were 3-0 down before half time. We won the second half 1-0, but that doesn't really mean anything. That was very disappointing, and already you can see from those 2 results at home against Norwich, we're doing very well at home, and then away from home we haven't won yet. So that's definitely something we need to work on. Our best signing is the Championship top goal scorer at the moment, Oscar Estupiñán, the Colombian striker. We got on a free transfer, which is amazing business because he's either going to be in the Premier League with us, hopefully, or maybe with someone else, or will be worth, infinitely more than we signed him for because it was a free transfer. He's on 7 goals, scored a hat-trick at the weekend against Coventry City, scoring a lot of scrappy goals, but they all count the same. We might be signing another 4 on deadline day. By the time this goes out, I don't know how many we would have signed, but 2 are definitely done. Simons from Chelsea, an academy player, and then perhaps our second or third best signing is going to be Dimitris Pelkas from Fenerbahce, a Greek international winger who's, judging by how well Ozan Tufan has done for us, and he's from Fenerbahce as well, Pelkas should be of a similar quality. And then my thoughts on the league table at the moment. I'm happy where Hull are. A very boring top 4, Sheffield United, Norwich, Burnley and Watford, isn't it? That's a very boring top 4. I think parachute payments really need to be not looked into but changed in a way, because it's ruining the competitiveness of the league at the top of the league at the moment over the last 3 or 4 years. And then surprisingly good start from Rotherham and Reading. Everyone predicted them to go down. Birmingham doing a little worse. I think I predicted those 3 to go down, Rotherham, Reading and Birmingham, but those first 2 are doing very well, so good for them. And those are my thoughts for Hull City's August.
Hello guys, this is Ollie B, and I'm just giving you a rundown of what's going on in August. We are currently 7th in the league, Bristol City. I am very shocked that we are here, but thinking what's going on with the transfer window, and yeah, we've done well. Best moment of August has been winning against Cardiff 2-0. It's got to be up there because it's our rivals, our better rivals from Wales on the other side of the border. So that's the best moment of August. The worst is probably Blackpool last weekend, winning 3-2, going into injury time, and then just sloppy passing just let us down. So we should have walked away with 3 points, but unfortunately we got the point. But we'd take a point at the start of the day, but it should have been a win. Our best transfer so far is probably been Carl Nailsmith. Definitely, because he's helped our defence get solid. Even though we have Mark Sykes, who's done very well, but with the Senga there, he should be off cover. Wales. Our rundown on the league is very good. We're just outside the playoffs, 3 points off top, but hopefully we'll just stay in our position, pick up in our next 4 games, hopefully 8-9 points. If anything better, that'll be fantastic. If not, then hopefully we'll just get a couple of wins and we'll be alright. Hopefully we can do this again. Alright, lovely. Thank you.
Hi guys, Joe Redman here from Turfcast Podcast, the Burnley podcast on YouTube channel, just giving my thoughts on Burnley's season so far in this monthly review. Just got a couple of questions that I'll read out and I'll give my answers to them. Your team's current league position and your thoughts. I think we're third. I'm pretty sure we're third actually. I don't really pay too much attention to the league table until about 10-15 games in. But I've seen a few screenshots of it on Twitter this week by certain people, so I'm pretty certain we're third. I think we went second after the win against, who did we play midweek? Millwall. But somebody else won, I think it was Norwich, that ended up going above us. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the season so far. You know, we've gone on such a transition in the summer, new manager, new players, completely new ethos, new formation, new style of play. Everything is different from what it has been for the past 6, 7, 8 years under Daesh. And I thought we'd take a while to settle, and I think that showed in our early season results, drawing at home to Luton, drawing at home to Hull. You know, no disrespect to them too. I think Luton did well last year, and I think Hull will be there or thereabouts this year, probably about 8th or 9th if I'm being honest. But yeah, I felt like we'd still be struggling, but I feel like recently it's starting to click. You know, we had a really good result against Wigan, then a really good result against Millwall in midweek, whereas both games were fantastic, and we scored 7 goals in the process and only conceded the one, which was a penalty. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it's gone. We've been referring to it as Burnley fans as click day, the day that we beat Wigan, because we were just waiting for it to click, and we felt like it was going to click. You know, we felt like somebody was going to get battered soon. Unfortunately for Wigan, it was them. Best and worst moments so far this month. The worst has got to be throwing away a 2-goal lead at home to Blackpool. Like, I know Blackpool are supposed to be like Lancashire rivals. I don't really have a negative opinion on Blackpool. I don't really have an opinion on them. They're just another football club. But I'm just annoyed that we threw away a 2-goal lead at home, you know, against anybody. It's always going to frustrate you, isn't it? So definitely that one. It's weird, that Blackpool game, because I felt like we were clicking. We were 2-0 up inside 11 minutes, and then we went 3-1 up. And to throw that away against any side at home, never mind, you know, a side that some people have tipped, you know, to struggle this year, after losing Critchley last year. It was very, very disappointing. But the best has got to be the win at Wigan. Like I said, we were fantastic. We absolutely battered them, won 5-1. You know, we were just, every move seemed to result in a shot or a shot on target or something like that. And we scored pretty much all of them. I think we had like 6 shots on target, 5 goals. It shows how clinical we were. And we didn't panic either. Like, sometimes, you know, you see teams panicking because they're not creating chances or something. We didn't. We just kept the ball. And every time we got to a certain point, it ended up in a goal. It was just a brilliant performance all round. There's still a few little things that need ironing out defensively, maybe. I think the goalkeeper was a little bit keen when he came running off his line there against Wigan, but the defence as well didn't help him. They should have been tracking the runner and they weren't. So a few things do need ironing out defensively. Yeah, very pleased with that win at Wigan. Best signing of the window so far, and will your club bring anyone else in? Best signing so far, probably Nathan Teller, on loan from Southampton. Absolutely love the kid. But I'm recording this on deadline day. It's now the 1st of September. We've just brought in, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name, another loan signing, a striker from Brentford. Apparently we're after Obafemi. I've whispered that quietly on this channel. So we'll see what happens with that one. And we do need a defender as well. So favourite transfer so far has got to be Nathan Teller. Really, really impressed with him. I love Josh Cullen as well. He's one of them midfielders that does all the hard work and doesn't really get the recognition that he deserves. But I think Teller for me is just fast. He's nimble. He's got a brilliant touch as well. Yeah, it's been a really good set. I'm surprised Southampton let him go, even if it is just on loan. Final question, a quick overview of the rest of the league table and your thoughts. Found it interesting that certain teams have started well. Your Readings up until midweek. Blackburn, I don't want to swear on your podcast. Surprised they were top for a little bit. I think both of them will fade. I think Hull will fade, as I've mentioned. I think Hull will end up finishing 8th or 9th. I think it's already starting to take shape a little bit though. You've got Sheffield United top, Norwich second, us third, and I don't think Watford are too far away as well. So I do think that it's already starting to take shape. I think we'll know more, like I said, around 10-15. Surprised to see Swansea at the wrong end of the table, though. Surprised to see Middlesbrough at the wrong end of the table, though. But I do think both teams will slowly start climbing. I think it's going to be tough at the top this season, you know. I really think it is. I think you've got yourselves, you've got Sheffield United, Watford, Norwich, all these teams. Like I said, I think Swansea were tipped quite a few by quite a few pundits to do well this season. So, like I said, that's why I'm surprised to see them so low. But I do think they'll rise to the top. Not all the way to the top, but, you know, to be within the playoff picture at least. And I think I can say the same for Middlesbrough as well. But yeah, league table, there's probably not too much to discuss at the minute, with it only being, 6 games in. So yeah, I guess we'll discuss that at the end of September.
Yep, Darren, Matt Bateman here. Stoke City bought a St. Brown t-shirt yesterday, the Mighty Potters. Good point yesterday for Mighty Potters. Scored last minute. Swansea Stoke. So Swansea, I said 2-1 after, ended 1 each. Don't get many games now, but by all accounts, Stoke actually started off the better team in the first half. New manager in charge, let's hope for better things. Come on, the Mighty Potters, let's have a crack the season. Good point for Swansea, good point for Stoke. Joe Allen came back to the Bet365 Stadium, number 7. Always good play for Stoke. So here's my review of the Swansea City as well as Stoke City versus Swansea City. Yeah, hope you have a rest of a good season, Swansea City. Like the Mighty Potters should do. That's all I can say. See you later, bye. The one and only Matt Bateman, signing out. Goodbye, that's it.
Good morning. It's your local South Florida baggie, and I wanted to discuss the month of August. Not a good month for us. We've taken a beating. Other than the match at Hull with the 5 goals, we just cannot score. We cannot finish. We cannot put the ball in the net, which is kind of the whole point. So it's a problem. We've brought in a young man from League 2. Let's see what he can do as a striker. We thought DK was going to be the answer. He would be if he was ever not injured, but he always is. Swift and Wallace have been wonderful for us. We love them. They've been great for us. Can't say a bad thing about how they played. As far as the rest of the league, the relegated Prem League teams have done what you've expected them to do. They've come in and done quite well. The Blades have played beautifully. And let's see how the rest of the league looks. I'll be over in September to watch a few games, see the Baggies play Coventry and Birmingham City. So I'm looking forward to that. Have a great September, and we'll see you then.
This is James, just Middlesbrough supporter. Just on about our monthly review. It's not been a great start of the season, clearly, but hopefully we can get better now. I'm hoping this transfer window is going to give us a few more new signings, and hopefully we can start kicking on. We've been unlucky in a lot of games. Hopefully the right players, I reckon we can start going up that league rather than down it. But don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. Cheers, bye.
So, Preston's league position currently sits 10th in the league, 11 points to our name, 3 points off the top of the league, 5 draws and 2 wins. Not conceding a goal in the process, 7 clean sheets on the balance, the only team yet in the Football League to not concede. We have been so solid defensively. We kept out teams where we were under the cosh. Prime example being last night against Coventry City, and where we grinded out a 1-0 win against Luton. We have got draws when we've needed to. We really should have turned some of these draws into wins. And maybe looking at the Rotherham United game, and maybe the Hull City game too. The Watford game I can accept drawing 0-0 with, considering, it's Watford. They're meant to be a team that's like going for the league title. So, I mean, realistically, you can't really complain too much at drawing against them. Nah, especially when they missed a glorious one-on-one chance. We did draw 0-0 at the opening day of the season. That was probably a lucky 0-0 draw too, because of Chairman's getting sent off 10 minutes off. We've only been on the field 10 minutes. But yeah,
10th in the league for Preston North End, 11 points to our name. Certainly something we can build from in 7 games this season. Hopefully we turn some of those more into goals. Let's move on to the best and worst moment. Hi guys, I'm Brandon, Preston North End fan. Thank you to Darren for letting me come out and do this video. Highly appreciate it, mate. Thank you everybody who's watching this now. I'm here to give my take on Preston North End's start to the season. It has been a bit of a draw fest, but let's go into it then. I'm going to run through Preston's league position and my thoughts. Our best signing, our best and worst moment, and then I will run through the championship table as a whole and give my thoughts. Just a disclaimer, this is my opinion, guys. So, if I do think, certain things about your team, mention it in the last league part, do sort of relax, it's okay, don't worry, hopefully you don't lose any sleep over it, it's just an opinion at the end of the day. But yeah, let's get into it, shall we? And I'll start off with Preston's league position.
Hello, it's Nikki the Southern Blade here. Let's talk about August. And I need to start by saying we're top of the league. It's a nice place to be, so I'm going to say that again. We're Blades and we're top of the league. And we topped it off last night with a 4-0 victory over Reading, where we played them off the park from literally the first minute. So this doesn't feel like one of those fluke early season, get off to a good start tops of the league. This feels like we're going to be here for the whole season type position. We'll be there or thereabouts, I think, with the quality that we're playing and the depth that we've got in our squad. When I looked at our bench last night, it was exciting to see the names that we've got on the bench. And we've still got quite a few players injured. Billy Sharp's still not playing. Everyone who knows me knows that he's the main man. And yes, I do have a wall of pictures of him behind me. Jaden Bogle's still injured. He's a massive asset to our squad. But I think we've shown that we're contenders this year. When I think back to last year, at this point, we were near the bottom of the league, if not actual bottom. And we still managed to claw our way back once Hecky got in charge into the playoffs. So I think with the squad that we've got this year and how far we've come, it's difficult not to see us challenging for automatic promotion. And that's where we like to be. In terms of the best moments of the month for me, hard to pick because we've had a good month. But Njaye's solo goal against Blackburn was incredible. Loved it. The kid he's just a star boy. We call him our star boy. He is a star. I've got to be honest, last season I thought he was being flattered by Morgan Gibbs-White. I wondered whether he'd still be the same player without Gibbs-White next to him, but he's proven that he's excellent. He didn't need Gibbs-White to make him look good. He's good in his own right. The other top moment for me has to be last night. I think I'm probably still on the come down from it. Anel got 2 goals last night. The kid doesn't know whether he's a centre half or a striker at the moment, and that's brilliant. We love it. I think the downside of this month, it's going to sound like an odd one, but Morgan Gibbs-White signing for Forest, it broke me. I'm not going to lie. We all say in football, never catch feelings for a lone player. I did exactly that. I loved him. I knew he wasn't ours. I knew he'd go back to Wolves. I didn't expect him to go to the club that booted us out of the playoffs. So that hurt a bit. That was my downside. I'm still not over it. I've got to be honest. It's going to take a while. And I've got to be careful not to catch feelings for our current loanees because we've got some incredible ones there. And talking about our signings, Doyle and McAtee from Man City, pair of wonder kids, absolutely brilliant. Doyle played his socks off last night. I think McAtee, he got shown up against Luton because they're a really physical side, and McAtee isn't used to that. But when I saw him last night, when he came on for Doyle, he had a great game as well. I think those two are going to be crucial to us this season. But the best signing of the window so far has got to be Anel. I can't say his surname. Ahmed Hodzic, I think. 3 million from Malmo, and we've got the Championship's Maldini. He is incredible. Everybody is going to be sniffing around for him come the January transfer window, so we need to hold on to him. I think in terms of more signings, I speak to you with 12 hours odd of the transfer window to go. For me, it's not about us bringing anybody else in. It's about holding on to Sunderberg. We've had interest from Liverpool. We've had interest from AC Milan. He has to be part of our squad this year, and I hope that he sees that if he stays with us, he'll get Premier League football next year. So I'm really hoping we can hang on to Sander. It's going to be a nervous 12 hours for us, I think. Looking at the rest of the table, we need to see what Coventry can do now that they've got a pitch that you can actually play on. I expected them to be top 6 this year. They've got a really great squad. Callum O'Hare is a right handful. I was quite shocked to see Hyam go, but I think they've still got the quality there. So we need to keep an eye on them and see if they can pull themselves up the table. We've obviously already had our first sacking in the Stoke manager, and then we've got a bit of drama with them stealing Sunderland's manager, which I was shocked about. Sunderland look a good side. I thought they'd be right up there this year, but having lost their manager, that's going to knock confidence a bit. I'm worried that Wilder could be the next manager to go. Middlesbrough have had a shaky start. It might transform now they've got a decent striker on board, but I've obviously got a soft spot for Wilder for what he did for the Blades. I'd be really gutted to see him go. And it'll be interesting to see if any Championship clubs pick up Sean Dyche as a manager. I think he's a great manager. I think he deserves a shot at the Championship. So I'll be interested to see what happens there. Long way to go, but as a Blade, we've had a cracking start. So here's to the next month.
So thanks for having me on the channel once again. So I'm going to give an end of August review then. So where we sit in the table is 22nd. Obviously that could change because we're playing Stoke tonight. That's the time of recording, which is not great to be honest. 22nd, relegation zone, relegation form. So yeah, really not good at all. Best and worst moment this season then. So best, I'm going to say Blackpool away. I went to that game, it was really good, the Limbs as well, later on. Worst moment of the season, I'm going to have to say that horror defeat, 3-0 loss against Blackburn Rovers at home. Who's been our best signing so far? I'm going to go with Harry Darlin. It's between him and Nathan Wood, but I'm going to slightly edge it to Harry Darlin. I thought they've both been brilliant centre-backs and great additions to the squad though, so yeah, definitely them two, but yeah, if I had to edge it to one, I'm going to edge it towards Harry Darlin. I think he's been our best signing. Do I think we'll bring anyone else in? Probably not. Obviously, we did bring in Luke Cundle and Armstrong Okaflex late on in the window, but I think that'll probably be it for our business now. I don't think we'll be adding, bringing anyone else in. I don't think we'll be adding to the squad, but lastly then, my overview of the whole table then. So, to be honest with you, you know, Sheffield United are looking good. Reading are looking good. I think Luton, you know, in the last few weeks, they're starting to come out of their shell a bit. And then you've got teams like us, Huddersfield, you know, we're struggling. Cardiff had a good start to the season, but now we're struggling. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one, a very tight one. Obviously, Burnley only just got their first home win, so yeah, you know, it's very, very interesting, this championship season. I think it's one of the closest leagues, and definitely one of the closest seasons in terms of, you know, all the clubs and all the teams in this league are at a similar level. So I think it's going to be really tight. I think anyone can go up, anyone can go down, and anyone can finish mid-table. But yeah, it's a very interesting one. But anyway, yeah, cheers and thanks for having me on.
Hi, I'm Adrian. As you can see, I'm a Reading fan. At the moment we are 5th, but really we're in a relegation battle. So I think after 7 games we've done quite well. Obviously, the performance of the season is the home win against Blackburn, which we played very well in. And we've had some good other results as well, of course, but the worst moments have been the 4-0 batterings from Sheffield United and Rotherham. Best signing really for the club as on a whole is actually Shane Long, because it's given us a lift. But we have signed some good players really on a free. I'm not sure if... I think he's on about bringing another striker in, but I'm not sure totally. And the rest of the table really is just as it is really. I mean, Sheffield United top, Watford's up there, Burnley up there, all the teams we're expecting to. I expect us to be down the bottom after the next 10 or 15 games. We'll be probably just above the relegation zone where we should be. But all the rest really are quite good.
spot on to where they should be at the moment.
Hi, I'm a very happy Gary Smith Rovers fan. Went to Blackpool last night where we won 1-0 to take us up to 5th, which I'm very happy about. We've had a pretty inconsistent season. We started off very well, 3 matches won on the bounce, and then we had a disaster against Reading and Sheffield United away, and then at Stoke at home we started poorly and then improved in the second half but lost the match. So it was good to get back to winning ways yesterday and take us up to 5th place, which I'm happy about. The best moment for me was flying over from California for my first match of the season against West Brom, where we won 2-1. It was a battling performance, and the whole fan base was buzzing after the match because we were top of the league, looked really, really good. And then we went down to Reading for what was the worst moment for me, where we lost 3-0. We just didn't turn up. We all went down expecting to be doing well, expecting to win, quite frankly, because Reading had been battered by Rotherham 4-0 the week before. But anyway, it was a poor performance, poor day out, and then we lost 3-0 the next game against Sheffield United, who looked to be, quality. The best signings, we've made 3 permanent signings and 2 loan signings, the second one just yesterday, George Hurst. Schmodix and Britton have been injured for the last few matches, so it's difficult to say who the best one is. Dom Hyam was very good yesterday. We just signed him from Coventry. He looks to be a quality player. But the big thing for the Rovers fans, the big thing, is the emergence of our academy lads. We've got Ash Phillips has played at centre half because we've had injury problems there. He's 17 years old and has been absolutely brilliant. He's going to be a quality. Spurs are reported to be interested in, but we really expect and hope that he signs a contract for us. But the big emergence is a midfield player called Adam Wharton. Make a note of the name. He's a brother of Scott, who's our centre half, who's unfortunately been injured for the last 4 matches. But we can't wait for those two to line up together because they're Blackburn Rovers through and through. The families support the Rovers, they support the Rovers, and it's fantastic, isn't it, when you get players who actually support the club, the team. So we're very excited about that. Obviously, one thing that would be fantastic for us is if we keep Ben Brereton Diaz. Come on, Ben, sign that contract. Or don't sign for anybody else. Keep with us, boy. Keep with us. And you'll be in the Premier League next season, no problem. Overall, I think that the season's been a bit strange. Norwich were at the bottom to start off with, which was a shock. But now they're at the top, which you'd expect. Sheffield United obviously are doing very well. The surprise actually has seen Burnley up at the in 4th place. I wasn't expecting that. But overall, I'm very happy with the Rovers being in 5th place. You've got to watch out, Huddersfield, Luton, teams who did very well last season aren't doing so well this season. And then Coventry, unfortunately, have had their start delayed, really. So watch out for them. I think they're going to be anchored at the bottom. Anyway, cheers. Come on, you Blues. Rovers are going up. No problem.
I've been asked to do a review for Blackpool Football Club for the month of August. We are currently standing 15th in the league. My favourite matches of August, there was 2 of them. One was away at QPR. We've not won there now 50 years, and we came away with 3 points after Josh Bowler scored to make it 1-0 to Blackpool. The other match was 3-3 away at Burnley. Again, we were down at Burnley 2-0, and we brought that back to 3-3. Could have scored the winner in the last few minutes by Jerry Yates to make it 4-3. The worst match was Barrow. I don't really want to say too much about that because we got beat by them in the cup, lost on penalties. It was a night I really don't want to remember. 2 players that we have brought in, which I actually really like, are Charlie Patino. He's a midfielder on loan from Arsenal. Unfortunately, he's got an ankle injury at the moment and we are missing him. Hopefully he'll be back shortly. The next one is Dom Thompson. He's a left back. He's not played many matches for us, but so far he has been absolutely brilliant and definitely one to look out for in the future. Quick overview of the season. As we said, currently standing 15th in the league. As we had no manager over summer, or brought in Michael Appleton late on, we hadn't signed any players, so 15th in the league, favourites to go down. So I think we're doing okay at the moment. Just keep consolidating. As long as we don't get into the relegation, then I think it's a good season for us.
Well, I don't put too much stock in the league table this early on in the season, but I'm certainly happier about where we are than we were a week ago before we won in Wales twice. Obviously, I'd like us to win England at some point soon, but things are pretty good as of right now. I think now some of the early troubles seem to have dissipated somewhat. We'd still like to see a slightly slicker Elijah Adebayo. I think he's looking frankly devoid of confidence, and I think that is an issue when your best attacking player does have a confidence issue. But whereas a week ago, before we played Swansea, I'd have had a slightly different issue on the start of the season, and a slightly different viewpoint. I think it's kind of rounded out a bit as you'd expect it to do within the first 10 games. Certainly, I think the best moment so far this season was actually, I think, seeing Dan Potts score our first goal of the season away at Burnley. Dan Potts, someone that's been with us since League Two and has consistently ended up in and out the time. Out of the side. He started at left back and kept James Justin out the team at left back for a period. And obviously, as we've gone up the leagues, he's found himself out the team. So I don't think many of us here would consider him a League One left back. But since we moved to, let alone a Championship one, but since we moved to 3 at the back, and obviously we lost Cal Naismith in the summer, and while Dan Potts doesn't go anywhere near providing the ball progression and ability on the ball that Cal Naismith does, he's proven himself very good defensively in that back three so far this season. Seeing him score, which is something he always used to do in the box from set pieces when he was in the team, was a good thing to see, particularly against such a, to be fair, quite an exciting side of watching, that Burnley side, particularly in the second half. And I'll be honest, I wasn't there, but the worst moment was probably losing at home to Preston, because at that point we've got a home draw against Birmingham and a loss against Preston, and we hadn't won yet. And I'll admit the goal was superb in hindsight. As far as I speak right now, that's still the only goal in a Preston game at either end so far this season. And that's an incredible stat in and of itself. But as a whole, I think we're okay. We'd like to see, talking back to Dan Potts, see what happens today. I think if anyone comes in, I think we need plenty of people to go out before someone comes in, because of the numbers. We won't be able to register a centre-half unless we Salisbury post. But like I say, it is a centre-half I think we would get, a left-footed one, and hopefully, preferably, and certainly one that can progress the ball in a better way in order to try and fill that Cal Naismith hole a little bit. But obviously, that's not an easy position to find, and I think there's a reasonable chance we might not find one of that. And given Nathan Jones's complete hatred of bringing pretty much anyone in on loan, unless they are going to be outstanding in a position we can't get, I think it's unlikely we'll add anything else on top of that. I mean, as we stand today, our only loan is Ethan Horvath, the goalkeeper. Obviously, that's a situation we had last year where we had so many keepers injured that became the only loan we pretty much had. But I think the business in hindsight is looking okay. Carlton Morris is a player I've always liked ever since I saw him playing on loan for Shrewsbury. Back when Paul Hurst was there, I think he has really started to come on now, and he's looking the part looking every bit the club record signing that he is. And Nathan Jones gets skipped that he is the club record signing, so it's good to see him looking worth the money to a degree to begin with. The player I really liked that we've signed is Luke Freeman, though, because there is that hole at the front of that midfield three behind the front two that Snodgrass really helped with. At the end of last season, a lot of last season we played with Aaron Campbell, who's almost like a Scottish N'Golo Kante, the way he's all over the field and breaking things up. And he was playing as the number 10 at times back in the last season. And it's really worked because, as a side, and that's still the case now, we are a very good championship side when we don't have the ball, but I'm not sure we're a very good one with the ball. And having a player like that in the 10 win us the ball high up worked, but we brought Snodgrass in for a period when we had injuries last year, and his additional quality really helped. And Luke Freeman, despite being a free, is like a younger, more mobile Robert Snodgrass, and I think he has already proven, and I think he's going to continue to prove to be an excellent signing, hopefully. As for the rest of the league, it's interesting so far. Like I say, it's a bit early days, but you can make it. But I think, as much as I'm surprised to see Reading up there, I think given the fact their squad is the way it is, I think if Reading were ever going to have a good period, it's going to be at the start before they had injuries. The really impressive one is Rotherham for me. And we'll see how both Reading and Rotherham, we'll see how Rotherham get on this evening, as we sit here. But I think they've done reasonably well. They're certainly unbeaten after 5 games. They have a very good record for a side, obviously, as we know, has bounced up and down the league and has lost 2 of their best players from the promotion side last year in Hickway and Smith to Sheffield Wednesday. So surprised to see them up there. But I think the real only big takeaway we can really have from the league so far this season is, as we stand here today, there doesn't appear to be a standout side. Now, Norwich's form has improved, and maybe they just had a sticky start, and it could be them. And then, once again, and obviously we played Sheffield United, who are top, when they were top of the league. And I was interested to see if I'd got Sheffield United very wrong, and they might have been the team to run away with the league, but they certainly didn't seem like that when we played against them. I'm not saying they were a bad side. Obviously, we drew 1-1, and they had little spells in the game, but they certainly didn't look outstanding. And the best half of football we've seen against us so far this season has certainly been the second half played by Burnley, so it's no surprise to see them in third. But I think we're going to have to see, I think at the end of September we'll have a really good idea who's actually good and who's actually not in this league, and it'll be really interesting to see at that point. But up until then, I'm just pleased with where we are right now, and be interested to see how the next month shakes out. We've got a lot of games here coming up that I think if we want to try and somehow achieve what we did last season and go for a playoff push again, I think we need to go on a very good run over the next month or so. We've got some games that on paper, pre-season, we should be looking at getting a decent amount of points out of, so we'll see how that one goes.
Good evening, everybody. I've been asked to do a monthly review of my football team, Blackburn Rovers. Our current position is 8th in the Championship, having gained 9 points from our 6 games we've played. We won our first 3 games and then have lost our last 3 games. So overall, I'm not quite sure yet how the season is going to go. The highlights for me were the Swansea away game, which I happened to get to. Not only did we control the game, we also finished very well. We only had about 4 chances and scored 3 of them. My worst performance of the season so far has been the Reading game, where we just seemed not to have any cohesion. Now, I didn't get to the game, I only saw it on the TV. Unfortunately, midweek games are a little bit more difficult for me to get to, as I don't live near Blackburn. Our current signings have been 2 players. One, I think it's Sami Samondra, I think that's how you say it, and then Callum Britton. And we've also got a lad on loan from Liverpool, Tyrone Morton. Now, the two current signings, unfortunately, have both been injured. Callum Britton at the moment seems to be a really good signing to our right back. We have just signed a new player who hasn't yet played a game from Coventry. And hopefully there will be another couple of signings before the window closes. So I'm going to leave my reviews on them until we've had a few more games under our belt. At this moment in time, I will expect Ben Brereton Diaz to leave us. It does look like a couple of the Premier League clubs are interested. I would like to keep him, but I do think if we can't tie him down to a new contract, I don't see any point in keeping the lad. He does seem to have made it quite clear that he's not prepared to sign a new contract. Fair play to the lad. You know, he's come along. He's been exceptional for about 18 months now for us and deserves his chance at better football. So I'm not going to hold any grudges. Let's just hope that we can get the money and we can allow the money to be invested in the squad. The league itself, a bit baffling at the moment because we've got Reading at the top on 12 points. Reading, ironically, lost the first 2 games and then have won the remaining 4 games. I'm not sure whether they'll manage to maintain that. We've got Sheffield United second and Hull third and Norwich fourth. I think Sheffield United and Hull are going to be there or thereabouts. Both are very good, strong teams. And ironically, at the bottom are 2 of the teams that got to the playoffs last year in Coventry and Huddersfield. I know both of them have lost a couple of their better players over the period. And it's always difficult the second season when you failed in the playoffs. We've had it ourselves when we've played. Looking down the team, the other teams, I think, I hate to say this, but I think Burnley are going to be a really strong team again. They've started off not particularly well. Having said that, they've only actually lost 1 game. They seem to be only managing to draw the other games. Had an excellent win over the weekend, and I think they're going to be coming strong. Reading, you can't fault them. You know, they've put their effort in. The problems they had last year, the problems are still ongoing, and yet they sit at the top of the table. It's very tight because there's only 3 points between the 8th team, which is ourselves, Blackburn, and the top. So 1 win, 1 loss, and you can move up and down very quickly at this point of time. Overall, I'm slightly disappointed we haven't made earlier signings. We do tend to leave it till the last minute, and I don't know why that is, whether it's a case of, you know, trying to get players that we want, not being successful and going for a second and third choice players. We've signed a lad from Coventry, as I said earlier, but we definitely need another centre-back. And on the assumption that Ben Brereton Diaz leaves us, we definitely also need another striker or forward. At the moment, the one surprising player for me is Ryan Hedges. He came in last season and he really didn't get much of a chance last season. But I've watched him a couple of times now this season, and unfortunately, again, he's picked up an injury. But he really seems to have taken to the new manager. Whether it's just a change of manager or whether it's just him getting used to everybody as he came in January last season and didn't particularly pick it up well. Nice to see Bradley Dack back. Hopefully he can get back to his once great player that he was for us. He does seem to have lost a yard of pace, but hopefully again that comes up as we go on. What's my overall views? Well, talk about season of 2 halves or a month of 2 halves. Beginning of the month, we were delighted. We seem to have unfortunately had a bit of a sticky patch. Let's hope this coming game against Blackpool on Wednesday night can turn that round. We've got Bristol City on Saturday, which I'm hoping to get to. I won't get to the Blackpool game, but I'll hopefully get to the Bristol City game. I hope that's okay. If there's anything else you'd like to know about Blackburn Rovers, by all means drop me an email or just speak to whoever it needs to speak to. All the best to you, and I'll do another review at the end of the month. Thank you.
Hello people. So August, from a Burnley fan's point of view, it's been a mixed month. You know, we've had a lot of signings come through. We've been playing some really good football, but yeah, we are currently third, either second or third, after drawing with West Brom tonight. Fuck me, that was a horrible game to watch. and with that last minute, well, that last kick of the game, they scored an equaliser in the 98th minute. But that was horrible to watch. But the current league position, I'm quite happy with it so far. I mean, I don't think many people expected us to be playing and doing as well as we are at the moment. But I'm quite happy with the league position and how the season's gone so far. It could have been better. We have had some games where we've drawn and we should have got something out of it, such as the Luton, Hull and Blackpool games. We should have got some out of them 3 games. But best and worst moment of the month. So the worst moment, I would say, would either be the loss away to Watford or drawing to Blackpool after being 3-1 up. And the best one would be the Wigan away day last weekend where we won 5-1. That was an incredible performance and just one of the best away days I've been on. And I'm pretty sure, most people will say that as well. It's one of the best away days we've had recently. Best signing of the window. It's quite hard to judge at the moment because after the transfer window last night, we've brought in 16 new players, so half of them are still getting to adapt to the league, the style, and some of them haven't even played yet. But I'll probably say so far our best signing, I would say, will probably be Vitinha. There's a few to pick from. There's you got your Vitinhas, your Cullens, Bensons, Bastians, Taylor Harwood-Bellis. They've all had really strong starts to the season. But it's quite hard to pick out of them. But I want to personally say Taylor Harwood-Bellis because he's been really strong at the back. For me, he's been really strong at the back. So I'm going to say Taylor Harwood-Bellis has been our best signing so far this summer. And a quick overview of the rest of the league and your thoughts. For me, it's been a very open league. Anyone can beat anyone. You see them with the Rotherhams, Readings, Birminghams. They've been beating decent teams, and they're the 3 teams that were pegged to be at the bottom of the season. Wigan got a draw against Norwich. That's a good result for them. But it's very open league this season. We can't fully judge it, anyone's league positions, I guess, really until after, I say probably mid-October. Then we can sort of see how each team's going to do each team's going to do, and their sort of targets for the end of the season. So that's everything from me. Thank you for listening to me chat absolutely bollocks. And I will see you in the next monthly review where hopefully we'll be top of the league. No, my luck will probably be button, but thank you, and on to the next one.
Hi guys, so I've been asked to do another review. These are probably going to be quite regular. The first question that I was asked is about the current league position and my thoughts. Now, Reading currently lie 5th in the Championship. My honest thoughts are we're above the relegation zone. I think this stage of the season, for me and for Reading, it's about accumulating points. It's about trying to get ourselves as far away from the bottom half as possible, because ultimately that is where we're going to be. It's been fun. We've been top for a week or so, I think it was, but let's be realistic. That's not our aim. That's not where we're going to be. So that's my thoughts on that one. He said, so the best and worst moment of the season so far. I'm actually going to start with the worst moment because it leads into the best moment. Now, the worst moment for us is quite simple. It was the 4-0 defeat to Rotherham. Again, that's no disrespect to Rotherham, but they're the sort of team that we need to be beating if we're going to survive this season. And not only did we lose, but we got absolutely ripped apart in the first 35 minutes. And I was worried. I was very worried. But these results happen, and fair play to Rotherham on that particular day. That leads into the best moment of the season so far. For me, it has to be the response. and that 3-0 home win against Blackburn. After you've just been beaten so convincingly, that game could have gone completely wrong. But we've turned up, we put in a performance, and we beat another of the big clubs in this league. So that was a good response. Asking about the best signing of the summer, I think, to be fair, when I first did the video, I was talking about Shane Long returning, and he did. But recently we signed Mamadou Loum from Porto, the 25-year-old, and he's come in and had an instant impact. And I just feel that he's going to be a really good player for us for the rest of this season. Also, we're going to bring anyone else in. I think, to be honest, with Reading's, the embargo and everything, the likelihood of us bringing in new players, I can't see many more coming in. I think Baba Rana, or have you say his name, from Chelsea, might be coming in on loan. But again, that's not confirmed. Names have been mentioned, but again, as of the recording of this, no one else has come in, and I'm not so sure we'll make that many before the window closes. And the fourth one, he said about the rest of the teams in the Championship and how the table's looking. I think, to be honest, the table is not a fair reflection of how it will look in May. I think some clubs have had decent starts, like ourselves. Millwall have had a good start. But you look at the bottom half with the likes of Stoke there, and you think they're not going to stay there. So I think, to be honest, the Championship season is very, very early. We're in month 1. We've only played 6 games or so, and there's plenty more to come. But all in all, I'm satisfied with the start that Reading have made, and hopefully it can continue. Apart from last night's 4-0 drubbing from Sheffield United, thank you very much. But we'll see going forward.
Hi, I'm Duncan McCready from the W12 podcast, and I'm here to talk about everything to do with QPR and their start to the season. So, currently we are sat 9th in the league table, on 11 points after 8 games. It's not too bad. It's kind of roughly where I put us on my pre-season prediction. I thought we'd probably be sitting around that kind of mid-table area for most of the season. We've won 3, drawn 2 and lost 3, so we seem to be quite consistent at the minute. I think that shows in our form as well, and actually the style of play. We seem to be playing quite a consistent form of football, and we've lost 3 games, and each game we've lost has been 1-0. So it seems that if we don't score, we're losing, obvious to say, but teams seem to be able to shut us out, and that's then when we seem to really struggle. Best and worst moments so far for August. I would say my best moment would have to be Chrissy Willock's solo goal at home against Borough. It was the first home game of the season, so it was always a good atmosphere anyway, and the way he carried the ball from his own half and just slotted it straight into the top bins, it was a fantastic goal, and that's my best moment so far. Worst moment was a bit harder to think of because we haven't had any too bad really, so I just went for losing to Blackpool at home. I just felt we didn't play very well at all. We gave Blackpool far too much respect. I felt we should have got at them a lot more than we did, and it was just a poor performance, so that's my worst moment for August. So our best signing of the transfer window, this was a hard one to pick, so I've gone for a tie of Ethan Laird and Kenneth Powell, our 2 new fullbacks. We were crying out for quick, energetic fullbacks for last season, and we've got that now on both flanks. They're both popping up with assists, goals, and they're really crucial to actually how we play. So yeah, for best signing, it's got to be those 2. And I feel like we've kind of shot ourselves in the foot a little bit by not getting in an additional striker. I know obviously there's still the free agent windows out and we can still get people like that, but I mean, if they've not been snapped up already, then you know they're not going to get you 15, 20 goals a season. So I feel we're probably a bit light up top still, so if we needed to get a striker in, we didn't. A quick overview of the league. So obviously top 2 are Sheffield United and Norwich. You'd kind of expect them to be up and around there, but sitting in 3rd is Reading. I'd have no idea that they'd be sat that high up in the league so far. I had them in my predictions at the start of the season to be relegated. I thought they'd finish bottom. So that's not looking true at the minute, but fair play to them. They've done well. But again, the other end of the table, a bit surprised to see that Borough in the bottom three. I thought they were going to have a good season. A lot of people predicted them to be up and around playoffs, possibly even automatics. So I think it's still early days, but I think you can see though that like always in the Championship, anyone can beat anyone. There's no easy games, and the games are going to come thick and fast. So I think a lot can happen over the next couple of months before we have the winter break. So it could be an interesting time, and hopefully a lot more good results for the R's. Cheers, thanks.
Hi
Bye-bye.
guys, it's Ben from QPR Clips. I'd first of all like to extend a huge thank you to the Real Jack Army for having me on the channel today. I will be talking about my QPR for the August monthly review. So QPR currently 9th in the Championship after 7 games played, 11 points. It's not too shabby. Obviously, 7 games isn't exactly a lot. 46 games, it's a huge season, very long, and anything can happen really. It's the Championship. But at the moment, I am very happy with how it's going. It's Mick Bill's first professional club he's managed. He's been the assistant manager for Rangers and Aston Villa. He's been great coach. Obviously, first club he's professionally managed. So it could go any way really, but I think it's gone good so far. My favourite moment of the season so far has probably got to be when Seny Dieng, the goalkeeper, scored that last-minute equaliser against Sunderland. First time it's ever happened for us, really. So that's why it's probably so special for QPR. Worst moment of the season. We haven't really had many bad moments this season. Obviously, we always lose to Blackburn. Happens every year. I mean, that's not really a bad moment for us. So I'm not sure there's really been a bad moment so far for us this season. So far this season, I rate our transfer business very high. Obviously, we've let 2 of our centre-backs leave at the end of last season, Johan Barbe and Jordi Device. So we had to bring in Jake Clark-Salter and Liam Balogun. Obviously, that was going to pose a huge problem, but I think we managed to get through it very well. My standout signing for us this season has probably got to be Ethan Laird from Manchester United. He's on loan, but I think he's a huge talent for the future. I'm very glad we've got him. Looking at the rest of the table, I think it's slowly shaping out how I'd expect it to be. Sheffield United, Norwich and Watford being in the playoffs. I think those are the 3 teams that will be promoted by the end of the season. Reading have surprised me. They've had a great start to the season. I honestly thought they'd go down after the season they had last year. Same with Huddersfield. They're right at the bottom of the table, and I thought they'd build on last season, reaching the playoff final, but so far haven't seen that much from them. Obviously, they're not going to go down. I think they'll get themselves out of trouble. And as for my QPR, we're 9th at the moment, as I've said. But I'm not sure we'll be there all season, but I'll be very happy with the top half. This is a season of rebuild for us, and as long as we don't go down and keep on building as a club, I think we'll be fine. Thank you for watching. Come on, you are.